President's Secretariat and the Ministry of External Affairs, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I, an IFS officer trainee of the 2022 batch, on behalf of the Sushma Swaraj Institute of Foreign Service, extend a warm welcome to everyone present here today. To begin today's proceeding, may I now request my fellow officer trainee to kindly present a bouquet of flowers to the Honorable Vice President of India.
And which chance it was? First attempt. And I'm sure, sir, I'll be very tough with you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dean SSIFS to kindly deliver his welcome remarks.
Honorable Vice President, Madam Dr. Sudesh Dhankar, Shri Sunil Kumar Gupta, Special Secretary to the Honorable Vice President, colleagues and officer trainees of the 2022nd batch. Sir, I am pleased to introduce you the officers of the IFS of the 2022nd batch and one officer who's joined us from the 2019 batch. The officers have been undergoing their induction training program at the Sushma Swaraj Institute of the Foreign Service. They joined us last December after completing their foundation course at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy in Mussoorie. All the officers are presently deployed at the ministry in what we call desk attachments. This is preparatory to their postings abroad. They've all been allotted their languages, and they'll be going to various countries, hopefully by the later half of this year. So the officers before you represent the diversity of our country. They come from around 17 states and union territories. And their backgrounds are very interesting and very varied. We have lawyers, we have engineers, doctors, and also graduates of the sciences and humanities. Some 21 officers have prior work experience. And remarkably, at least 12 of them have joined us from the private sector. I think it's really heartening to note that we are able to compete and attract talent from the private sector and take the best our country has to offer. Sir, the training program is varied. Briefly, there's a well-established practice of attaching them to our defense forces, to our missions abroad for a brief overview of how embassies work. And also, what we have done this year is we've taken them to specialist establishments and scientific institutions, including the Hindustan Aeronautics Laboratory Limited and to the National Health Authority in Bangalore. Sir, I'm pleased to report to you that as part of the 25 Central Training Institutes, the SSIFS is fully on board government's vision for continuous and ongoing capacity building programs for development of skills and enhancing their competencies. As Prime Minister said, this should be done from the very beginning of a civil servant's career, including by mapping out their competencies across domains. At SSIFS, we are regularly carrying out training needs assessments and tailoring courses to meet the needs of a wide variety of our officers for the immense challenges they'll be facing in their careers ahead. It is also in line with government's vision that we are focusing on capacity building of our foreign service officers at all times to ensure that the induction training program is comprehensive and designed to prepare the current batch for a future in a highly demanding profession. Sir, the operative word here is comprehensive, and that was our priority. Our efforts was to give the officers as wide-ranging an exposure as possible to all dimensions of work that they will be required to perform in their duties abroad, be it commercial work, trade, promotion of our exports, diaspora issues, taking care of our citizens overseas, and also crisis management, which has increasingly come to the fore in our work in recent years. Sir, our job as faculty has been to contextualize their training, their classroom sessions with our field experiences. And this is what I hope we have done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. May I now request my fellow officer trainees to introduce themselves to the Honorable Vice President of India.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Raj Anand. I am from Bhagalpur, Bihar. I am a mechanical engineering graduate from NIT Bhopal. And, sir, prior to joining Indian Foreign Service, I have worked in GAIL India Limited, Indian Railways, and Indian Revenue Service.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Amit Kate. I am from Jhunjhunu, Rajasthan. I did my BCom, MCom from Rajasthan University, and I am from 2019 batch. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Arpit Sharma, and I belong to Delhi. Prior to joining Indian Foreign Service, sir, I have completed my BTech in Electrical Engineering from Delhi Technological University. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Pooja Jha, and I have done my Bachelor of Dental Surgery from Delhi University. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Shivaraman. I am from Tanjore, Tamil Nadu, and I've studied metallurgical engineering from IIT Roorkee.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Sahitya. I'm from Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. I did Masters in Industrial Pharmacy from Long Island University, USA, and I worked as a junior scientist for 20 months in Natrion, New Jersey.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Surbhi Goyal. I am from Delhi, and I've completed my BTech in Information Technology. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Rajesh Ponnappa. I am from Kodagu in Karnataka, and I have a degree in law.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Anurag Nayan. I am from Bhagalpur, Bihar, and I have studied mechanical engineering.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Ashish. I am from Ranchi, Jharkhand, and I have done BTech in Civil Engineering from IIT Delhi.
Good afternoon, ma'am and sir. I am Lakshya. I am from Delhi, and I have done my graduation in Electrical Engineering from DTU.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. I am Aman Akas. I am from Bikramganj, Rohtas, Bihar. I have done my graduation in Mathematics Honors from Hansraj College, Delhi University. And prior to joining Indian Foreign Service, I worked in State Bank of India as probationary officer and deputy manager for 2.5 years.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Gaurav Kumar Agarwal. I am from Sundargarh, Odisha, and I have done my graduation in law from Hidayatullah National Law University, Raipur.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Imsina Waling. I'm from Nagaland, and I did my bachelor's in physics from St. Stephen's College. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Tenzin. I'm from Arunachal Pradesh, and I've done my bachelor's in economics. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Anmol Hussain. I'm from Kargil, Ladakh. I did my graduation in botany from Delhi University. Prior to joining IFS, I was part of Kashmir Administrative Service.
Good afternoon, sir, ma'am. My name is Naman Kumar Singla. I'm from Patiala, Punjab, and I have graduated in Political Science and Economics from St. Stephen's College, Delhi. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. I'm Bhavishya. I'm from Ajmer, Rajasthan, and I've studied Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Nikhil Mahajan. I belong to Faridkot, Punjab. I've done my graduation in Electrical Engineering from IIT Delhi. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Shubhra from Aurangabad, Bihar. I did my graduation in Political Science from Patna University. Then I did my Masters and MPhil from JNU. Before joining this service, I was a part of Indian Postal Telecom Finance Account Service. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Saili Mhatre. I am from Pune, Maharashtra. I have completed engineering in electronics and telecommunication from Pune University. Prior to joining Indian Foreign Service, I was in Indian Defence Account Service. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Satinder. I am from Ludhiana, Punjab. I have done graduation in electronics and communication engineering from Patiala Technical University. And before this, I have 7 years of experience in private sector. Prior to joining Indian Foreign Service, I was in IPS for approximately 10 months. Thanks, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies. I am Roja S. Rajan. I am from Trivandrum, Kerala. I have done my graduation in BTech Computer Science and Engineering. And prior to joining the Indian Foreign Service, I was working as a data scientist in Tata Elxsi. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Niveta. I am from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. I have a degree in chemical engineering. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, madam. I am Shankaran. I am from Hyderabad. I have done my graduation in electrical engineering.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Ramya Chandrasekharan. I am from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. I have done my electrical engineering and I have worked in 5 years in Tektronix as well as Amazon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Ashok. I am from Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh. I graduated from ECE from IIT Guwahati. Prior to this, I worked for 3 years as a data scientist in Bangalore.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Jyoti. I am from Delhi and I have done my master's in mathematics. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Harkirat Singh Randhawa. I am from Kapurthala, Punjab, and I am a history graduate from St. Stephen's College.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Aman Agrawal. I'm from Bihar. I've done my graduation in economics from the Shri Ram College of Commerce, and before joining the service, I worked as a consultant at Bain & Company.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Bhavesh Chaudhary. I am from Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I've done my graduation in civil engineering from BITS Pilani. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Avinash Rao. I am from Karnataka. I've done my BA LLB honors from National Law School, Bangalore.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Ayush Shivare. I am from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, and I have done my graduation in mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Karanbir, and I am from Amritsar, Punjab. Prior to joining the Indian Foreign Service, I worked in the Ministry of Defence for 2 years. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Abhishek. I'm from Kotkapura, Punjab. I've done my computer science engineering from Punjab Engineering College. Thank you, sir. May I now request the Honorable Vice President of India to kindly enlighten us with his invaluable thoughts.
I am always in doubt between 4 and 5. Should I say good afternoon or good evening? We'll have to find a solution thereof. My greetings to all of you. The room is fully surcharged. It's very impactful. The world will see it in decades to come. Sri Sunil Kumar Gupta, Secretary to Vice President of India. He is a 1987 batch IAS officer with IIT Kanpur background. Sri Gadam Dharmender, the learned Dean, Sushma Swaraj Institute of Foreign Service, 1919 batch, Indian Foreign Service. You would always remember him for the rest of your life. And you would unhesitatingly conclude, if he and his team have been very harsh, that will make you spinally strong. So the days are over when you would be a tough dean is always man-made curse. But then a tough dean makes very refined, powerful, undaunting human beings, which you all are. Sri Mridhu Pawan Das, Joint Secretary, 2004 Indian Foreign Service, senior officials. You have in the audience 2 officials, one from Indian Foreign Service, who is attached to my office, Rajesh Naik. He was in the consulate at San Francisco before joining me. A very brilliant officer, 2010 batch. We have Sujit, 2010 batch Indian Administrative Service Officer. He is from Bihar. Kader is Gujarat. Rajesh is from Karnataka. Very brilliant young minds. I can therefore imagine what a powerhouse this room is today with the presence of all of you. Then we have members from Indian Information Service in my team. We have Rini, an excellent official, and we have another new entrant. His name is very similar to the man I worked with for a long time, Jairam. Not exactly Jairam. You'll have to give out your correct name. I have not given the correct. Jairaj. Jairaj was a gentleman who, in my legal practice, helped me for over 3 decades. He started his career with me as a clerk and has become a fine advocate now. To make that point, I made him say his name again. We have in the audience my young OSDs. We have Poonam is here. Sanjay is there. Where is Balekar? He is missing or not? He is doing something. He is 24/7 work alcoholic. Then we have Adil, come on, get up. Oditi. I don't think I have missed anyone. Why I have introduced them to you? They are all very young. Normally we have old people around to help us. When it comes to experienced people, I think one is good enough. Nothing like having a team that works for you, that makes you work, that makes the world know what you are. I am grateful to my team. You cannot imagine the kind of satisfaction and happiness I am having at the moment. The future of the country is very bright because of the rich human resource we have. You represent it. You exemplify it. You have proved it. You have shown to the world. Those who are present here, they constitute cream of the society in your generation. You have taken the toughest examination on the planet. You have made it. You are part of the most premium service of the country. You will ever be ambassadors, foot soldiers of Bharat that is home to 1/6 of humanity. Your caliber, your competence, your dedication, your direction will ensure that India's march to 2047 from Amritkal will indeed be historic, epochal, full of achievements. Some of us may not be around in 2047 when India celebrates its centenary of independence, but you will be there. You are lucky to be at a time in the country where country's image is rising upward continually. Well, one never gets away from fraternal feelings. I am so happy 3 of you are lawyers from good institutes. You are from various states of the country, bringing on the table experience of premium institutions, urban and rural background, all intermixed. Such a powerful combination, as a matter of fact, is representing our civilizational ethos and what India stands for. This service will offer you something which other services don't. You will have global footprint. You will be able to serve Bharat in the best of traditions with the kind of tough training that has been imparted all over the globe. Therefore, this is a great opportunity for personal development and a greater pride and satisfaction that you will be representing in the world the largest democracy on the planet. The largest democracy, the most functional, vibrant democracy. I can tell you, my young friends, no country in the world has that kind of constitutional mechanism of democracy which we have. Our constitution provides for democracy at the village level. Constitution. at the panchayat level, Jila Parishad level, Panchayat Samiti, and we have at the state level legislatures, and of course at the central level parliament. We also have democracy in our cooperative mechanism constitutionally provided. No country in the world can claim to be in that status. The strength of democracy lies in transition of power. In our country, without fail, transition of power is only through one means, and that is the electoral process. That is the power of the ballot. Not many countries can claim to have, from the beginning itself, adult franchise which we had. So we are a unique country. When you will go all over, you will find countries having history of 300 years, 400 years, maybe 1,000 years. But our civilizational impact has been felt for over 5,000 years. I have no doubt as foot soldiers, you will be brand ambassadors of the country. And when I say so, I mean it literally and figuratively. You will be brand ambassadors of this great nation. Friends, the world is in epochal change at the moment. A change which you may not have seen, which you may not have anticipated, and for development in the country you may not have even dreamt of. That change is taking place. India has become a factor to reckon with globally. No argument needed. It's very clear to one and all. India has occupied a position on global firmament that it deserved long back. India's presence on global fora is highly impactful. We are living in times when the world waits what the Indian Prime Minister would say. That scenario is our pride. Friends, every opportunity has a great challenge within, and every challenge has an opportunity. You will be going to places that will have different culture, different language, different cuisine, and you will have to be in sync with that. But that should be quite convenient for someone who is from Bharat. This room, the human resource, is so diversified when it comes to region representation, educational background, and there is good balancing of gender also. You will get one very sublime exposure, and that is Indian diaspora. Can you imagine? We have over 32 million Indian diaspora dotted all over the globe. We are proud of our Indian diaspora. They are our pride. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has given it a new dimension. He has catalyzed them into a great energy. Our diaspora is highly recognized because they work for the land where they are positioned at the moment, and they also contribute for the welfare of their motherland, that is Bharat. Your connect with them, how you unleash their energy for betterment of humanity and Bharat will be a challenge to you. I have no doubt you will be able to perform it in amazing manner and with great success. By nature of your job, you are required to catalyze situations. You are required to anticipate. One big change which we see when a girl is married in a family, she comes to a new family altogether. She gets acclimatized. She might have tough time. Serious emotive issues are there. For you, it is your career. You will be dealing with nations that will not be the same as your own country in the style of governance, in the manner of climate, in the manner of habits or with the availability of infrastructure and growth scenario. I have no doubt in such a situation you will vindicate what the Prime Minister has said. Be innovative, think out of the box, and always keep interest of the nation first. When you go outside, you represent India's excellence. You represent India's human capacity. If you look around the globe, and you all had option, I can tell you, you all had option to take career where you could have got manifold fiscal benefits. But in that situation, you would not have got the opportunity to serve the motherland. And therefore, your genius is channelized to help humanity at large, because our civilizational ethos indicate world is one. That is the theme of G20 also. One earth, one family. We believe in that culture. And that is why India is known for hand-holding culture in the country and outside. Just reflect on COVID. 1.3 billion and over people were dealing with COVID. Our government was extremely in affirmative mode. We effected success the hard way and the people cooperated. But in the process, we had co-vaccine Maitri. We did not lag behind in helping others. And most of it was assistance to those countries. Another feat which you must note, because you are living in times that are defining the global history at the moment. And India is in a position to contribute massively to this big change. I'll share with you some statistics. In September 2022, India became the 5th largest global economy. And in the process, we upset whom? Our erstwhile colonial rulers. By turn of the decade, undoubtedly we'll be the 3rd largest economy. And by your sweat, by your dedication, by your commitment, when Bharat reaches 2047, Bharat at 2047 will be number 1. I have no doubt about it. India's rise at the moment was not dreamt a few years ago. I know the scene that existed in the country when I was elected to Parliament for the first time in 1989. I had the occasion to be a minister during that period in the central government. I made foreign trips as a minister. I have made foreign trips now as India's Vice President. Friends, I know the difference now. The difference is huge. The difference is significant. The word India itself makes sense to one and all. Our passport is now very different. Any suggestion coming from the Indian government is taken seriously by most powerful nations. The historic address and the historic state reception given to the Honorable Prime Minister recently in the US, a very powerful democracy. I am sure you are in the game of it. You must have taken note of it carefully. It was very significant, very impactful. India, my friends, has arrived on the global scene as never before. It's a challenge to you. How you generate an ecosystem that how 1/6 of humanity can be kept away from decision-making bodies of the world. We have withstood India not being a permanent member of Security Council for long. But that has to take place. You will have to engage into several activities by catalyzing change. I can tell you there are certain situations where we must be extremely alive to. There are forces, sinister forces with pernicious design to tarnish, taint, and run down our constitutional democracy. You will have to engage into sharp dissemination of information. You will have to antidote and neutralize these forces. And that can be very successfully done when you know the ground reality at the moment and are well embedded in the history and culture of this great nation. I have no doubt you all, as warriors of 2047, are fully capable and competent to do it. And you shall do it. During our time, we had a concept. It was very painful to notice. India was dismissed as a basket case. We were part of Fragile Five. Look at the scene. Most of you were either not born or maybe toddlers. Most of you were not born. And now, what a pleasant spectacle for me. I run into the IMF president at Phnom Penh, at Qatar, and I gather what? India is a bright spot in global economy. India is a destination of investment and opportunity. And it is, undoubtedly. If you look around, even in your times, you must have seen the incremental growth in our infrastructure, technology, road, rail, air. All this has happened, and so we have become, from basket case to beacon of hope. The world is looking at us. A dynamic leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, visionary leadership, execution being the hallmark of it. India is in transformational change, and the change is for the better. And that is why it has emerged as the strongest voice of Global South. There was a time when outside people used to advise us on everything under the sun. Paradoxical, but a pleasant one. Those advisors are now seeking our advice, how to handle their affairs. Let me give you a simple illustration. Digital transfer. Digital transfer is very difficult in a country of 1.3 billion and more, because you may have technology, you may have serving capacity, but the recipient has to be involved. The recipient has to come up to the mark. And what is the figure for 2022? More than 46% digital transfers were in our country. Around 1.5 trillion US dollars was the financial impact. And if we take statistics a little further, our transactions in 2022 in digital area were more than that of USA, UK, France, and Germany taken together, and mark my words, multiplied by 4. Where we have come. We could never imagine that 110 million farmers would get direct benefit from the government under PM Kisan Nidhi. Saman. They get it. They get it 3 times a year. This could never have been visualized earlier. The world is stunned at the kind of progress India has made. And this has made India, our Bharat, geopolitically very strong. Our voice matters. You as foreign officers need to know the Indian Prime Minister has made 2 historic statements in last 2 years. One, we are not living in an era of expansion. You would see the meaning of it more than anyone else. Expansion means some country decides to overtake the sovereignty of another country. That was the message, a tough message, but the world accepted it. And second is, war is no solution to any problem. It has to be dialogue and diplomacy. And diplomacy has to be your forte. I remember long back somebody told me, in diplomacy, if you win a point by argument, you lose the battle. Argument is for ordinary discussions, ordinary debates, ordinary dialogue. Diplomacy, there is no argument. Diplomacy is very subtle, very refined. It is full of nuances. And that is why I plead with you. Be thoroughly informed about our culture, civilizational ethos, historical background, because no country in the world can rival that. We are unique in that sense. Friends, when it comes to Indian genius, I have been telling people over and over again, we are eklavas. There may not be a tutor around, but we learn very fast. And that is more true of those living in remote villages or semi-urban areas. And that is why we have 850 million smartphones, internet connections. But per data consumption, most of you are aware, our per data consumption is more than that of USA and China taken together. That is tribute to the genius of our mind. Now, in that, as we often say in my home state, सोने में सुहागा है. आप तो trained हो. When untrained mind can pick up so fast, then a trained mind like yours, the results are bound to be geometrical. And your geometrical results will help the nation as never before. There was a time when economically India was at peak. We were home to global institutions. Our institutions made us proud. Nalanda, Takshila. You will help us regain that position, and that will fructify for sure when India attains centenary of its independence in 2047. The people of this country look up to you, for Bharat will be at 2047. I recollect when the Honorable Prime Minister was addressing a batch like yours, he said, dialogue and diplomacy are the greatest weapons. And these can be further weaponized when you bring culture, civilizational ethos, and history to your aid. Friends, there will be tough challenges in your career. When you will be in the beginning, you will look around your peers. They might be getting some role somewhere. They may be talking in a different manner, and that you could have made much better outside financially. But when I addressed the Indian bureaucracy on Civil Services Day, I gave one point to them. No one in India belonging to any family, rich or poor, he would have always dreamt of getting into IAS or IFS. In the civil service of this country, no one can be there who has never had this dream. Your dream has come true. Time is that you realize the dreams and aspirations of over 1.3 billion people. I have no doubt you will do it. Friends, you have to be somewhat different to make a difference. And that has to be the individual trait I have myself seen. If I have been abroad, I have noticed young Indian Foreign Service officials, and trust me, they delivered so effectively, I would never forget their face. I may not be in a position by virtue of age and otherwise to know firsthand what your accomplishments will be. But I can tell you there is an element of predictability because of the tough training you get. And that predictability is you will make a difference wherever you go. You will make a difference for the better. You will be an asset for the country, and you shall never get away from the fact that we have to place nation always first. This is not optional. This is not compulsive. This is the only way, and that is in the interest of the nation, interest of humanity. My congratulations to all of you. Can you now tell me on a lighter note, how many of you are married? Your parents are lucky. Because those who are not married, their parents must be having hell of a time. Am I right? They'll be having a hell of a time. And that is the strength of Indian society. They realize immediately. Can you just imagine the kind of happiness your family, your friends, your society got when you got into IFS? Can you imagine the kind of pride which was there in the body language of your parents, your nanas, nanis, dada, dadis, everyone? Your one achievement has electrified the entire ecosystem in your circle. Your accomplishments will electrify the largest democracy on the planet. I have no doubt about it. Best of luck. Be ever happy. Be ever blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your gracious remarks. May I now request my fellow officer trainee, Pusapati Sahitya, to deliver vote of thanks.
Honorable Vice President of India, Madam Dr. Sudesh Thankar, Special Secretary Sunil Gupta sir, Dean Dharmendra sir, senior officers of the Vice President's Secretariat and the Ministry of External Affairs. It's my honor to propose this vote of thanks this evening. First of all, I, an IFS officer trainee of the 2022 batch, on behalf of the Sushma Swaraj Institute of Foreign Service and the Ministry of External Affairs, convey my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Vice President for sparing valuable time out of his busy schedule to interact with us today. Sir, thank you for putting us at ease with your wit and humor in the beginning of the remarks. And we would like to learn so much from your attention to details and the insights on team building, optimism, reminding us of the interesting times that we are in and the responsibility that we have upon us as we represent India, a power and a force to reckon. We would like to do our best in our careers with the best of traditions, doing our bit to act as sentinels of democracy and also being innovative along the way so that we make the difference that you aspire. I would next like to thank Dean, Sushma Swaraj Institute of Foreign Service and his team for their constant support and guidance to us officer trainees. I would like to thank all the distinguished guests once again for their presence and support. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Sahitya. Ladies and gentlemen, I request you all to kindly gather for a group photograph in the lawn outside.
I think for a good reason, and I do not know how to rationalize it. Rajesh has kept photograph in the lawn because that is a normal place where when governors come to call on the vice president, they get a photograph there. But he has chosen a time where it will be slightly warm. So never forget that. He has done it. So what we can do is, you can have refreshments